I am Kolo Toure and you are watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to Redmen TV. Jurgen Klopp's just done his pre-Rubin Kazan press conference and it was a doozy, so we thought we'd sit and talk a little bit about some of the high points, some of the funny points and just some of the general things that we found out from the presser. What I found out first and foremost is that, your words, he doesn't suffer fools gladly.
No, not at all.
Not taking any shit at all.
Not at all. When Lucas got asked that question, no, hand over, I'm going to fucking
For those obviously haven't watched it, Lucas Liver basically got asked a question along the lines of, what's it like working with him and is he the funniest guy you've ever worked with? And I thought, Klopp's hand comes over and you see it and I thought, oh, he's going to be like, oh, like it's a bit of a joke, and he basically says,
you don't have to answer this question.
Yeah.
He's not going to say after 11 days that I'm an idiot here in this
he also
conference. So don't ask these questions. We shouldn't be talking about this.
He also says something like, after 4 weeks he wouldn't say it, so you shouldn't ask it then. And also, what if he thinks I'm an idiot? He's not going to say it. You're basically asking a stupid question.
Yeah, he said it exactly was. You're asking self-answering questions, which I really liked about like that. But it was the first time, because we talked about it, about he's quite funny, he's been quite open in press conferences. We go from his original unveiling when he was hilarious, then he was really flat and a bit surly in his pre-Spurs one, and in this one he's gone, right, now fuck it, you can tell he's bored of all the fucking talk about him, and he basically says as much. He says, look, as you said, he might, if he thinks I'm an idiot, he's not going to say it, is he? So what's the point? We're not going to spend this next month having these same questions.
Yeah, I think what he's thinking is that you wouldn't ask Jose Mourinho what John Terry thinks of Jose Mourinho. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just wouldn't ask those questions. They're not questions that he should be fielding in a press conference. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Is this is all being made about Klopp and he's not asked about it. He said it himself later on, I don't care about press conferences. Yeah. There'll be a lot of reporters sat in that room going, bugger.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, the context of that was it wasn't quite that, but it's Lucas got asked the first question. It was literally like, what do you think of him? And he said, well, I can't say anything bad, and has a bit of a laugh. And that's it, there you go, there's your joke done. That should be that
Doesn't
question.
Have to be the second and the third and the fourth question.
Put to bed. So anyone want to throw out some personal highlights from the...
I think when he answered in German.
He got asked the question in German.
Yeah. Answered it in German, and clearly someone said you have to answer in English. I didn't hear that, but the way that he realised it, I was like,
I think the room laughed. Maybe even just the room laughed. Anyway, wait a minute. Was the question in German? And he didn't know, and he was confused. I just from a visual, when he just moved the two mics closer to him. I don't know why.
He really elongates his fingers to the full extension and pushes them in.
He
just makes to hit them every time someone.
He just makes me laugh, and in a really positive way. I like watching them talk. I just like this general. When he became Liam Neeson in Taken to talk about the FA. Was amazing. He's and it came up twice. He was so angry, but he says, I don't know who I'm going to have to talk to, but I will find out who I have to talk to. Whoever sanctioned Rosser to play in those games should be in trouble because he's got skills.
Well, okay,
he knows how to use them.
Let's contextualise these points a little bit, because obviously he was asked about Jordan about the injuries to players. He shows a piece of paper that's basically filled with his injury news, and he comes to Rossiter and he basically he says 3 games in 5 days is ridiculous. And I have a feeling it might have been someone like Tony Barrett who asked him. It might have been the second question right at the end. And he says I don't know who to complain to, but we're going to have to talk to it. And then he clearly gets riled by the whole thing, and he's saying,
I think that's what I like about him most. Is I think he's got into these press conferences and he goes, I want to keep it guarded. I want to keep it so that they don't come and ask me these questions. I want to keep it so that there's not 50 reporters in the room, but it's bubbling under the surface. And when something great to him, he has to get it out there because he does fucking care about these things. So unfortunately for him, because of the character that he is. People will still turn up to these press conferences because they are going to get something worthwhile from it, even when he's trying not to.
It's an interesting point, isn't it? Because it's been made about Mourinho a lot, how the English media love him and the English public bought into the Mourinho, where it didn't work in Italy and it didn't work in Spain. He's never managed in England, Klopp, and I don't know, I've never watched a German press conference before, so I don't know if that's very different to England or not, but it's his first, he's had a week, it's 4 press conferences in, that he's getting used to that now, and he might have to adapt his approach slightly. So he comes in and he's like, well, okay, I'm not happy about it. Rossiter, he's a young player, he shouldn't have been playing. And that was towing the party line. And he's like, what the... Because why would you? And then he carried on longer than he should have.
There's a great quote
Really
within
animated
that
and
where
angry.
He says, young players are our future, brilliant. Handle them like horses and you'll get horses. Which is amazing when, you know, considering, like, he's not immune to all this talk of, like, England players and making sure that, you know, local talents getting you know, put to the forefront, all these foreign influxes to the games. That, well, hang on, you're not even treating your own players in the right way, which is absolutely amazing. He basically, and the bit what he says about Ross, he says, split the games in 5 days, it's a hamstring. He's not done it on the plane home, he's not done it on a coach, he's not done it, it's happened in the match. It's basically as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they tried to throw it back at him, didn't he? They said, come on, there's a lot of talk, which is the coward's way of saying, no, we don't agree with you, but there's been a lot of talk of young players should be able to handle that amount of games. And he goes, right, okay, you're going to bring this up again. No, that's not right, and that's where the horses analogy comes from. Yeah, okay, young players should, but they probably are going to be rubbish, or they're not going to be, or they're going to get injured and not play great.
So let's get back to the game at hand, I guess. I was a little confused. He cleared up a little bit further along, but he was, again, going back to the injuries. Daniel Sturridge's not going to be in contention for Thursday.
But maybe Sunday.
But maybe for Sunday. There was talk, I think he said Benteke, Firmino and Lovren are back in training.
Yeah.
But later then said Benteke and Firmino are not in a position to start the game on Thursday.
That's why I heard it as well.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, like I say, it's a shame because I think we're all eager to see these players playing under him, aren't we? But again, it's kind of like, I like the fact that it's no big deal, it's no calamity. We'll just
get on with it. Like, you know, you can moan about the circumstances that the roster injury's been picked up in and stuff, but he's not actually bemoaning the fact that he's got a load of injured players. He understands that that's part and parcel of football. The fact of the matter is, to him right now, and what he said in the press conference is, they're not in a state to start, so they won't be starting.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see with Liverpool players. You know, too often we've rushed players back and they've ended up suffering more setbacks on the back of it.
What was really interesting on the back of that is that he talked about, let me see if I can get the exact quote here, they had a number of special exercises with the young players this week.
Yeah.
So he's basically got a load of the young players in to run the rule over them, and he's pleased with what he's seeing, with the idea being, I think that with one eye on this, which is mad.
Well, he said, and we will see which ones join us tomorrow.
Exactly, which again, it's funny because we've talked about whether he's going to be taking it seriously or not. I like what he's basically alluding to there is not, I'm fielding an understrength team. He's like, I'm taking a look at all the options I have available to me, and if people merit being in that team, they'll be in that team, which is exactly the same as playing a fucking weakened team, but it's how he's put it across.
Yeah, he got asked the question, didn't he, as well, which was, it dovetails with that, which was, what are you thinking? Are you thinking a week in advance? Are you thinking a game in advance? Are you thinking like further down the line, 5 or 6 games? And his answer was quite interesting because he basically said, I'm new. They don't know me and I don't know them. So at the moment, it's one game at a time. Now, further down the line, if we had a fully fit squad and I wasn't a new manager and knew who these players were, we would be resting players for this game against Rubin. We would be thinking about Chelsea and Crystal Palace, which is to come. But at the moment, I need to learn these players, and we've got injuries. So at the moment, for like 4 or 5 weeks, I think he is. It's something you said. I remember you saying it this week, which was confidence breeds confidence, and winning breeds winning. And he basically said that in his pidgin English way, didn't he? He basically went, "We've got."
He said it better than me.
He said, "We've got to play it." You've got an English with slang, did he say? Some sort of English slang?
Special slang.
Special slang, the three of us.
Special English slang.
Yeah, special English patois. But yeah, basically he said, at the moment I need to learn them. They need to learn what I want to do. So it kind of goes hand in hand with what we've been saying all week, which is play your team, play a solid, a settled as you can team, and get to know them. 2
to 3 changes max, is what I read from that.
Well, exactly, his exact phrasing was, you can't rotate 4, 5, 6 positions when you're basically at this starting point of getting everyone used to the way you want to be playing, which again is good. You know, having that level of continuity is going to be a good thing, I think. There's a couple, two more sort of points I want to touch on. The first is the training. Leading up to Lucas alluded to this and Klopp talked about it as well, and then we'll talk about the atmosphere at Anfield. So the training, what I thought was good, and both of them mentioned the word concentration.
A lot. Concentration
Maximum
came up.
Concentration.
Yeah. And he said, like I was writing down in a pad, and it was like 6 times, 7 times he said the word concentration, and another one was, they were talking about concentration and fitness, and then Lucas said mental fitness and mental concentration. And he talked about set pieces, so he alluded to the fact that Rubin have got a tall target man. They know that they're going to play long balls to him.
A tall team as well.
Yeah, tall team, a taller team than us. And set pieces, we're going to have to be really concentrated because they've got a taller team. So, again, it's all just stuff you want to hear, because ultimately, it sounds horrible to say it because it shouldn't be the case, but you could bring a new manager in. He's only at the Spurs game and this is his second game. He mightn't know much about our team, let alone the opposition. Yeah. It's like he's hit the ground running. He knows exactly. He's doing the prep. He's not been overwhelmed by having to meet and greet or press conferences. He's doing the prep that he would do normally. And I think every Liverpool fan wants to hear that we're going to try and tighten up at the back and stop leaking goals from set pieces.
Right. He says, need to be concentrated at set plays. We have to be a bigger challenge to them, which is great because again, it kind of feeds into this notion of he's looking at them and saying, look, we're the home side, we've got this advantage, we need to be the ones letting them worry about us, but also we just need to improve our general concentration. Lucas said the same as well. What was interesting about the atmosphere, there was one great quote in that, and he says, it leads into two points, and he basically says, if people, what do you think the atmosphere is going to be? He says, well, I think it'll be good. If people want to surprise us, if someone wants to surprise us by being louder than they've ever been in their life, it
wouldn't be unwelcome, yeah.
But then he feeds into this notion of patience as well, and this is stuff that he's talked about already, about just kind of getting over that, like, the pressure that we're putting on ourselves and putting on the club. And he says, playing at home's only an advantage if we're patient and not expect 3-0 after 4 minutes. Essentially, you know what I mean, and it's going to be telling. I think that's another challenge he's laying down to the fans, which again I completely agree with.
No, 100% agree with that, because look, I think he's known that he's come into a club that had a fan base divided. I think people will have told him that one of the things that we're lacking at the moment is this amazing atmosphere of seasons gone by, especially like the end of 13-14. One of the things that he did at Dortmund was he got the fans on side, and the fans really bought in through success to everything that Klopp did, and he'll want to cultivate that exact same atmosphere around the club and around the stadium at Liverpool, and it makes sense because it is an advantage that you can gain. Yeah. So, we've talked so many times on the show over the last couple of years about marginal gains. Well, if you can get your crowd as your 12th man, fucking do it.
He practically said that, didn't he? He called it an advantage, where he said it's only an advantage if it's there. Yeah. And the advantage that we have got tomorrow is we're at home. But that can't be taken for granted. So he kind of he's becoming almost like an orchestra, like a conductor, isn't he? He's a conductor of Liverpool fans, and the way he's like, I think everyone's happy with him, which is good. Yeah. Because at the moment, don't know what there was appointments in the past without throwing people under the bus. There's several ones that people weren't happy with, or sackings that they were replacing. He's starting off from a point of 99% approval rating, so that's good at the beginning, and then he's saying, come on then, show it. You prove to me. I've heard amazing things. I've heard that Dortmund, I know Dortmund fans are boss, and I've heard Liverpool fans are better. Prove it. Yeah. Show me this great European night at Anfield, which is amazing, because that's passion, and that's going to get people, like everyone, if you weren't excited to be in the cop singing for him after hearing that, and he's just laid down a challenge for me to be as noisy as I can ever be. Well, I'm going to meet that challenge, and then hopefully... And he kind of, like he said in the other press conference, not this one, he said, let me worry about the pitch. You just deal with the singing and turning up.
He's not kind of said, we need you all to go out and sing. He's kind of almost been a joke of it. It's like, if you choose... but not in like a direct way, and really like throw it, well, if you fancy being the loudest you've ever been, then that'll be amazing. Instead of going, because who the fuck are you telling us to do whatever? Absolutely spot on. And ultimately, I said, the way, again, the bullishness which he handled the press conference was sensational. And apparently, Matt Ladson told us that it will be on the This Is Anfield YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the full thing, if you've not seen it yet, go over to there and watch it. It was definitely worth a watch, particularly just for watching him shut people down and just smacking microphones. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts. What was your highlight of the press conference? Let us know in the comments section underneath. What were you particularly impressed with in the way? Was it the way he handles himself? And then he said in particular. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Check out the rest of our pre-match content on the YouTube channel. Ta-ra. Hello, welcome. It's the Uncensored Match Build-Up Show. The Europa League is back. I'm more excited about this than I have been in years. I want to see if my panel feel the same way. Of course, Chris Pajak's here. Why wouldn't he be? Matt Lanton from This Is Anfield is here.